What's going on, guys? I'm joined by Anton. Anton is a client of mine. In the last 90 days, we've achieved some pretty incredible results. Anton is a mindset coach and went from 0 to 100K months in just 90 days. Anton, where can people find you? And yeah, if you give us a little bit of an intro.
Yeah. So Anton Wisbiski, ANTON WISBISKI.
Anton, when you got started, you did have this background as a speaker. You were accustomed to that whole field. But you were telling me just before this call, one of those challenges that you were facing was you had these big peaks and valleys in the revenue,
Yes.
right?
Multiple times. I actually started to hate the thing I loved because it's like if
Yeah.
you don't figure out the money game and you're a passionate coach, it gets very discouraging because you're like,
Mm,
fuck, like I know I'm meant to do this, but
yeah.
I'm missing something. So
100%. And that's really sad to see that there is people who like, they may be like breathwork facility, they may have all of this powerful stuff to actually give clients, but
yes.
maybe their mindset isn't on point. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with high ticket sales, etc. Or maybe
Yes.
they're just not willing to do some of the uncomfortable work. Anton, in this case, before we got started, this was like a brand new offer. There really wasn't an offer so much in place when we got started,
Yeah,
right?
not at all.
Absolutely, right? So amazing that, as I was saying to you, I recapped we have a Telegram group, obviously, with the client. So I recapped the date that you entered. 24 hours later, there was the first high ticket sale. We went over the sales process. You implemented the coffee chat, the Segit system, all the sales stuff. But man, I just have to also say, like, props to you, the speed of implementation. And this is really something that I'm really trying to hammer with every new client is like, it's a bit of a tateism, but like money loves speed, and that speed of implementation is
Yeah.
really so important. I
Yes.
sent you some of the lead gen trainings before you even signed up. So before the sales call. And you
Yes.
jumped onto that sales call and you're like, Matt, I've already got 4 calls booked. I know
Yes.
this shit works, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
uh, that's the energy, right? So it didn't take long, for results to start coming through. There's the things that we implemented. We'll cover those now in a moment.
Mhm.
First 24 hours was your first high ticket sale. How long did it take you to get up to the 10K mark?
I think it was within a couple weeks, right? Or a week or
Yeah,
so.
it
I
was,
honestly don't remember. I know it was within the first month, but it was quick.
yeah,
It was
it
super
was
quick.
quick. It was
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah. I was just like, I didn't necessarily know what I was doing, but I had the basis. I had the basics, and I was kind of just like, execution trumps a perfect plan every day
Absolutely.
of the week. Like
Absolutely.
I was just like all in quickly. And then with you,
100%.
we had the refinements to my messages, and that's when the calls and everything was much more consistent and just
Mm,
the responses and whatnot. So yeah,
100%.
but 10K came really quick.
100%. Absolutely. It came very quick. As I said, like you were a beast with implementation. One thing I'd say, like both of us were fortunate with, or I'm fortunate because I get to now flex this client result, but like you had the self belief to fucking out the gate charge like a 5K price point. We'll go
Yeah.
into how that increased and everything. But right
Yeah.
out the gate, you were charging that 5K. We should also say that just before we jumped on here, you closed somebody for a lady, I think you said,
7,500.
yeah,
Mhm.
7.5K. Right.
Yeah.
So you obviously went on, so many people, their goal is to do these 10, 20K months. You obviously went on to do a lot more than that.
Mhm.
But with a 5K or a 7K price point, it doesn't take a lot of sales for this
No.
to really add up quickly.
No. And I think a lot of people have the wrong psychology when it comes to charging a lot of money. They think charging less money is going to get them more sales, and in my
Mm,
experience, it's almost never true.
yeah.
And the reason it's not true is because people actually equate value to price,
Mm,
and people know that's true, but for whatever reason, when they
they
look
don't
at
do it.
themselves, they don't
Yeah.
they don't apply these things.
Yeah.
I don't know why we do this as human beings. I guess it's just this whatever
100%.
shame or something, but it's actually a disservice not to do that because you're not going to like sometimes the business solution is like raise your fucking prices.
Yeah.
And when you do that, you get this counteractive effect where you're like, oh, well, I'm going to get less people. It's like maybe, but maybe not. Like look at Louis
Mm,
Vuitton. Like what makes Louis Vuitton so special? It's like brand because
yeah.
of price. So
100%. And like, you know, what we talked about a lot about in the sales process, the sales training, is that commitment and certainty. And obviously, like a
yeah,
7.5K price point, it is a bigger commitment than a 2.5. But as a
that too.
result, you have to build this extra certainty in the prospect. And that's
Yeah.
what gets people executing right out the gate. And in
Mm.
your case, you close these, like I think you were saying, these two guys pretty much
Yep.
back to back for a 5K. They were so committed to the process that like 2 months later you upsold them both on a 25K package.
Yeah, yeah, not even 2 months. It was one of them was 30 days and one of them was straight to the 25K. It's like if you have a problem you're willing to solve, or if you have a problem you can solve, and your client has that problem and you can't close them, like there's something seriously wrong. And
Yeah.
like when you put it in that frame, coaches go like, "Oh yeah, like that's true." But it's like, can they in the sales process dig into that problem?
Mm,
Can they really bring that to the surface? And are they willing to like push their client to be like, yo, let's fucking do this? Like anybody listening, one thing you'll definitely learn is how to get better at sales in this program with Matt. But for me, there is this level of genuineness I think that
mm,
takes place where
yeah.
I am convicted that I can help them, and I think people feel that. So
Mm,
with coaches, it's like, do you really believe? Like, do you
yeah.
really believe and know
Yeah.
that your shit helps people? And if it does, you just need to get in front of more people, which was my
Mm.
problem.
So you know that first month, first couple of weeks, you hit those 10K. The following month, you were doing like the 35, 40. Once we had that proof of concept, so we implemented the outreach processes. Again, we talked about this just before this, but you had like the right mindset. You had the desire as well, which I really appreciate, that instead of just kind of fobbing that task off to somebody else because you didn't want to get your own hands dirty, you like wanted to understand why and how all this stuff works, which is the reason why it worked so well for you, you know. Once we had that proof of concept, you hit that those 10K, 20K, the 30K, that's when we applied leverage to what we know is actually working. Because that's what so many people do. They'll try to apply leverage to just an idea, something that hasn't been verified yet. You said it earlier, right, about like nuance. There's not that much stuff that we implemented. We implemented the seductive marketing with the outreach and the CTAs as well.
Mm.
There's a lot of nuance there. But once we had that proof of concept, it was about applying leverage and outsourcing the DMs and the coffee chat to a trained setter, which it still took some refinement, but that's what led in 1 month from like the 35 or 40 to 102K cash collected the
Yes.
next month.
Yes. And you know,
So,
everybody listening too, like when you hear Matt say these big numbers like 20K, 100K, etc., it's like 20K is 4 sales. Like it's really not that many people. And what I did to do the 100 was I just raised the prices. You know, I had
mm,
some 25Ks, I had some 6Ks, some 7Ks. Yeah, I had some 5Ks too, but it's really not as big as it seems. Like people are looking at their business. Like if you would have told me like, yeah, Anton, in 60 days you'll do 100, 100, I would have been like, I don't know.
this guy's full of shit. Yeah.
Right, right, right. Like I don't
Yeah.
know, but
Oh
when you
man,
break it down, like
I
if you would have
gotta
been like,
stop you
Anton, you're
there.
gonna get
I was taking some screenshots from our conversation of like the client wins.
yeah.
And one of them had me laughing, and it's perfect to what you just said there. It was like, just closed another client, however much it was for, and then you said like, I'm genuinely surprised at how well this process is working.
That's honestly the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty. I tell this in my coaching, like good strategies work whether you believe in them or not.
Mm, mm,
Period. Like
very nice.
so to have like that so much of me as an entrepreneur in my growth has been just trusting systems. Cause like I'm an
Mm,
artist. I don't like to use systems, but
yeah.
when I lean on them and I just like let me get my emotions out of the way, like it's usually a good outcome.
Mm, mm. And
Yeah.
on that note, regarding like trusting systems, like trusting the process, what led you, like when you were on that coffee chat or that sales call, what was like the moment or what did you see that like, you know, it ticked the box or it was like, fuck yeah, that's what I need, or that makes sense. This is the guy or these are the guys to work with.
it was more of an intuition of realizing I didn't have my business figured out in the way I wanted to have it figured out, and you had some solutions that were definitely working.
Mm,
And, something I think that's important to highlight is that everyone says, like, find the strategy that works. True. But a strategy that worked 12 months ago might be different than a strategy that's
mm.
working now. And when I reverse engineered, like, how I was on the call with you, I was like, "Well, I'm here."
Yeah, this shit's working, right? It's working on
It
me.
works. And, like, I am not the easiest person to, go through that process. It's just very away from my nature. So,
Mm.
the fact that I found myself following it said something to me.
Yeah. And I'd like to like, put a pin in one of the words that you said there was like some solutions. It's not even like of all the things that we implemented, I mean, the bottlenecks that we addressed was like positioning, price point sales, and just getting some calls in the column.
Yeah.
Right. And that's all it took. Like we haven't yet gone ahead and built out that VSL. We don't
No,
have like
still
an
don't have
email
it.
list in
Still
place.
don't have it.
Yeah, like you have a website and stuff, and you have like a lot of social proof and stuff. But
It's not even
uh,
live though. Like, I don't even
yeah,
have a website in my fucking Instagram bio.
yeah,
You
exactly.
don't need it. Like, you really don't. Like,
So it was like DMs, right? DMs to Zoom call, Calendly link, Zoom call, close.
that simple.
Okay, man, awesome. I value your time. I appreciate your time. I think that's really powerful. We covered a lot there.
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody who's like, this video here, it's likely to be up on the pre-call booking page. So like what
Oh,
would
cool.
you say to somebody who, they're either about to book in that call or they're thinking about working with us? What kind of guiding advice would you give them?
I think like the best way to move forward in life is just make decisions quickly. Like, don't overthink it. And even if you're not 100% there, invest. Like, make the decision. Like, I think when I bought with Matt, I wasn't overly convinced this was 100% gonna work. You're never gonna feel like that.
Mm,
So you just have to make a decision and act on it, and like, just don't overthink the shit, man. I think so many people overthink what could change their whole fucking business. And
mm,
it's like we said, like, imagine if I wouldn't have made that decision. Literally my whole business would be different.
mm,
Like, I may have eventually arrived at understanding, like, yeah, I should do this type of strategy, but could have been 2 years from now, could have been 6 months. And either way, that time, it's invaluable.
I think you hit on something there, which is like just the mindset of backing yourself. Like you trust yourself, you need to do something, you need to change something. You can never know if this strategy 100% is going to work unless it's in hindsight, unless you're looking
Yeah,
back.
exactly.
But you value people like yourself, people like the clients that you work with, people like the clients I work with. They value their time. So they're not going to sit idle for 6 months or 4 months or 12 months and try and figure it out themselves. They're willing to put down that investment and get that support and shorten that whole process.
You need to. You can't do it alone. Doing it alone is the dumbest thing to try. And being scared to invest is also silly. It's just a lack of understanding. Like, you're not gonna lose out. You're
Mm,
not. Like, you're
yeah.
gonna learn something that changes everything.
Awesome,
No.
man. That's what I'd say to anybody as well. Like, I really think that anybody that's going to have long-term success, not just in business, but in every aspect of their life, they're going to have much more than just one coach. Right now,
Yes.
there's going to be some people that have particular sets of problems that I know I can solve. And I'll
Yeah.
say that to them. I'll be like, I'm not going to be the last person you'll ever work with, but
No.
I'm going to
You
get
don't
you
want to
into it.
be.
Exactly.
You don't
Exactly.
want to. You're a coach for a season, and that's the beauty of it. It's like freshmen become seniors, and then they
Sure.
graduate. It's like, this is life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Anton, thanks to the work that we've done together, what has changed and what kind of like avenues, like, you were doing well with the other business already financially,
Yeah.
but like, yeah, what's changed in your life as a result of this?
Oh wow, a lot's changed. My whole schedule's completely different. I spend most of my time coaching now, which is amazing. Like, that's what I love to do. Like, I genuinely love to do that. So that's been new and exciting. I think another thing that's really helped this whole process is like some of my clients I'm spending 7, 8, 9 hours with over the course of our time together.
Mm,
I learn so much about who my ideal client is.
mm,
That has changed my content
mm,
because it's like, well, I thought it was one person, but it's really another type of person. And it's also refined my skills as a coach because I've realized, ooh, like I'm kind of limited in that area. Let me grow. Let me learn
mm,
something new. Let me kind of go deeper in my arsenal of what I can bring to the table. I think the biggest thing is just it's showed me like what a healthy coaching business looks like. Because like I
mm,
said, it was like I was doing these group things in person. It's like these big, peaks and valleys of revenue. And it's like, that's not healthy, at least for my type of personality.
yeah.
That doesn't work for me.
Causes a lot of
That's why I've
stress
always
as well,
loved my
right?
agency, right?
Yeah.
Because like the agency is nice because it's like every month, 5,000, 10,000 consistent year-long contracts. So I was like, man, there's got to be a way to crack this in this business. And once I did, it was awesome, man. Really life-changing for sure.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate all the kind words. I appreciate you. You've been a dream to work with, man, because like, I really appreciate there was like there's a duality. Some people, there's a very healthy level of like, I really want to understand why and how this stuff works. But some people really do get caught in overthinking things. And you really took that attitude of like, I really want to understand how and why all this stuff works. I gave you the processes. We did all our one-to-one stuff on it, but you were so eager to actually get into it that you even started implementing some of this stuff
Or-
before the sales call, right? So, um, to anybody that's watching this, I
Yeah.
think if they have those character traits that they're like, you give them the ball and they're going to fucking run with it,
Yeah.
they're the kind of people that I want on that sales call. They're the
Yeah.
people that I want to work with, right? So if you see some aspects of yourself and Anton, we can do good work together.
Yeah. Hell yeah. Yeah. Move forward. Don't hesitate.
Awesome, awesome, man.
Cool.
Appreciate you. Hope
Thank you.
to link up sometime in person. I'll drop your Instagram down below.
Awesome.
Cool. Keep in touch.
Epic.
Cheers.
Thanks, Matt.